What's your name and your name of your company?
My name is Matt Ammerman. I'm the VP of Client Services for a company called Apprenda.
Great. We just had a great conversation with you about your case study. Why are enterprises slow to adopt cloud computing?
Well, I don't know that they are particularly slow in adoption of cloud computing. I think enterprises are adopting various portions of cloud computing at different rates, typically starting with infrastructure as a service and moving up the stack to platform as a service. But I also think that a good number of large enterprises do so in a private way, where they're not actually out there using public resources for their implementations of cloud computing. So it's not so much that it's moving slowly, it's that we just aren't hearing about it as much.
Okay, good. So you gave us a good case study of Diebold, and could you summarize the case study and how could it be used as an example for other enterprises to adopt cloud computing?
Absolutely. So Diebold was an excellent case of a company that realized that in order to open up new lines of business and maintain existing lines of business, they needed to modernize their approach to the services that they delivered. So they realized that they were going to start offering software as a service in a greater capacity, and they wanted to maintain their industry leading innovation on top of the hardware manufacturing that they're so well known for. So what they did was they stepped back and said, well, we know this cloud computing thing there's various ways that we could go about this. So they established some criteria and decided that platform as a service was in fact what they were looking for, a separation of deployment of developers from infrastructure.
Okay.
Once they realized that they needed platform as a service and that was how they were going to go, the decision was really, do we go with public platform as a service or private platform as a service or a combination of both? And eventually they went with the Apprenda technology, which allowed them to build an internal platform as a service out of existing infrastructure.
Great, that's a great story. So what is your advice to customers or enterprises looking to adopt cloud computing technology?
Well, I think that what's important for an enterprise that is looking to adopt cloud computing is that they build use cases that support an adoption of cloud computing. Typically, what you're going to find in a large enterprise is that IT, if IT does not yet have a initiative to explore cloud computing, there are development teams that definitely do, and that they see the value of things like public clouds and things like that they're not allowed to use as developers within large enterprises. So identifying those use cases, maybe it's mobile apps, maybe it's modern web apps, maybe it's just backend as a service or database as a service. But identifying those use cases that are entry points to cloud computing approaches will really help speed the adoption of cloud.
Right, excellent. So can you close with a brief background of your company again?
Sure. Apprenda is a software layer that establishes a platform as a service out of existing infrastructure at an organization. So a company such as Diebold, who already has, can take Apprenda and install it on a collection of servers that might already be running in their data center. And what it does is it stitches them together into a private cloud environment that allows developers to deploy and manage applications and allows IT staff to manage the underlying infrastructure without the developers having to do so.
Great. Thank you for sharing your story here and before on our long event, and appreciate your time.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.